Going on again, everyone. My lights are out, but get that while I'm talking here. But what we're gonna do today, I have new brakes and brake pads and rotors for the Mustang. The brake pads and then rotors, front and back. There's actually a kit off AmericanMuscle.com. Turned out to be cheaper if I bought the kit than if I tried to buy everything separate. So just went with the kit. Don't need anything special. It's just dilly. I'm not tracking it or anything. So anything that you get is better than worn out OEM one. So what we're gonna do first, jack the car up. Actually, what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna crack all the lug nuts loose. Then I'm gonna jack the car up. What I actually might do is I'm gonna respray my calipers first, because I sprayed them black and I never clear coated them. So let's see if I can find a, you see it's like a matte finish. That was just the spray paint itself, and if you look on the 240, I clear coated it afterwards and it's gloss. So what I'm gonna do is respray them, just give it like one more coat on the calipers and then throw some clear on it. Then we'll get cracking on switching everything out. Wheels are off. Car is jacked up. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna spray with the high heat. Just here and there, because if you look close in some spots. I'm going to spray it with the black. I'm doing this before I switch everything, and I'm going to risk scratching it again when I swap everything over, but I'm doing this beforehand so I don't have to mask anything off. I'm just going to do a couple touch-ups, and then I could do like real basic masking when it comes to the clear. Maybe I'll just take like a piece of cardboard to like shove it behind, and I'll just do that. Oh, spray it down with brake cleaner first, just to get all the shit off. One coat should be good since it was already done. That's really like a touch-up one. Then I'm gonna shoot it with some clear. Then we'll let that dry for a good amount of time. This I could probably hit it with the clear already, because like I feel like it already looks dry. It's the first one I sprayed, and I basically just walked around the car spraying them all. Then put the cap on, and it looks dry already. Now that I'm looking at the clear, it doesn't say high heat. But I used this. But I used that for the 240 brakes. And I did a track day since then. So if it was no good, if it was gonna like bubble or something, I assume it would have done that already. So just gonna spray it. Just spray it. Fuck it. Calipers are all sprayed. Just going to give it enough time to dry off, so we don't completely destroy it when we try to take them off and swap the brakes and the rotors. So it's been about a half hour. The paint seems to be dry. Watching it. What I'm going to do is, paint seems to be dry, so I'm going to move along with this process now. And I'm going to take off the rear calipers and swap the brake pads. And swap the rotor, but to throw the new brake pads in, the only thing I might have to do is actually like wind in the piston thing for the, I guess that's for the e-brake, but that's a pain in the ass. I don't have a tool for that, so I'm gonna have to figure something out, like figure out what I can use for it. So let me take these off. It should really just be, let me get a light for you. I'm gonna have bolt here and a bolt down there. Then you take this whole middle section out, or I guess I could really just take off the whole caliper since it's going to have to come off. So there's a bolt back here and then one down. Let me take those off quick and then take a further inspection. Actually shouldn't be too bad. As you may or may not be able to tell, I am dying right now, but this one's all good. I'll show you on the other side. It's really not that difficult. What you want to do, you want to take off this bolt holding this piece of the caliper on. That's a 13 up top, a 13 at the bottom. And then after that's hanging off, which may be a little difficult to take off, so you may need a pry bar. Rubber mallets always nice, so you don't really completely destroy shit. After that's off, you take off this bracket, which is held on with two 15mm back there. Then your rotor should slide right off. Should slide right off, but being it's a Mustang, it's a pain in the ass to work on 80% of the time. You have to take off this little washer thing. However the hell you could take it off, take it off. I kind of broke the other one off. It's not needed because it really only holds it on for when you're swapping it, when you take the caliper off. So the rotor's not all floppy, but you could always just put a lug nut on to hold it in place. And when you put the wheel back on, that thing does nothing. The wheel holds it in. So take these things off, caliper, then you can slide your brake pads off, bracket, rotor. Then you just go basically reverse, but I'll show you the thing with the e-brake. So the new rotor is on, still sweating. You see I put the lug nut on to hold it. I'm gonna put that bracket on, and then I'll show you what you gotta do with the e-brake part of the system. So the e-brake. The e-brake on this one is built into the caliper. So there's actually this guy. This piece right in here. You actually have to grab it with some sort of tool and tighten it. Obviously clockwise, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Gotta get it to suck in. They do sell a tool for this. I don't have the tool. So what actually has been working for me, it worked on the 240 when I swapped those, and it for here is this tool. This tool, it's actually to change one of the wheels on a grinder. Just grabs the middle and twist it for the grinder. I've seen people use kind of like a needle nose, like vice grip type deal. You could jam on there. Really, it's whatever you could get to fit. Just got to twist the shit out of it a lot, especially if let's look at some rotors. Let's look at some pads here. You need to twist it a lot, especially if your pads are really worn. This is a stock pad, and this is a new one. Look how much more meat's on the new one compared to stock. So I gotta get this to suck in a lot. Let's start doing this. You want to try to brace it somewhat well because the whole caliper is going to want to twist. So get a good grip on it and just twist away. We're starting here. You just got to grip those two little indents and twist. And that's where we ended up. So I'm going to throw my pads in and maybe retouch that, but got new ones of these. Go in there. And the front brakes are even easier than the rear brakes. If you take a quick look at them, it's the same thing. It's the two bolts that hold the caliper on, and then another that hold the bracket. That stupid little washer thing, and then just reverse. The front ones you have to compress the little piston, so you could use either a C-clamp or channel locks and just compress them till you could fit it back over the caliper. So gotta take this bar quick. Now I just gotta get this little stupid washer thing off. I just kind of like yank a little bit. It was a lot easier than the other ones. Throw the bracket back in. Now we gotta compress the caliper. Not too bad. Now with the caliper, you have to, obviously what you have to do, you could use a C-clamp, you could use channel locks, whatever you could use. I'm using channel locks. You see the two pistons? You just gotta grab and squeeze that one and that one. If you do one too hard, the other one shoots out. So you gotta just squeeze slowly until you get them both in enough that they go around your brake pad. Not too hard. But look good with that. After the brake pad's in, you see sometimes they have this guy. This one's a little bent. I have this. That is your like little warning, because sometimes when your brakes get low, you hear them like squealing when you hit the brakes. That's what that thing is. Brakes and pads and rotors are all done. I'm just gonna go around, double check all my bolts. It's really only really you got to check 4 bolts each corner. After I check all my bolts, I just gotta go throw the wheels back on and then go for a little test drive to break in the pads. And not every company, but a lot of the companies have their own ways that they'd like you to break in their brake pads. This one came with instructions, and we're gonna attempt to follow those. Sometimes you don't get too lucky, like you get stuck behind a car or whatever, but we're gonna do our best. And we're back from our test drive. So, couple quick things here. First impression when I was driving, actually when I pulled it out of the garage, it was like no pedal feel. Assuming because I compressed the calipers a little, not a little too much, but from compressing the calipers. And then the brake pads were very shitty until I did the little heat cycle that they want you to do when you install the new pads, which is very weird because when I did the ones on the 240 here, they were instant grip. But what brand is this? Power Stop for the Mustang. It was kind of like you got to break them in or they're not going to work. All in all, very good. It was very easy. The back passenger side caliper gave me a little bit more trouble than the driver's side, but you just kind of have to, if you can, you gotta like squeeze it as you turn, and it sucks right in, and you're all good. You just put it back on, and then put your bolts back on, and you're all good. So for the people that actually stayed with us till the end here, 240 mods that I have, new grill, because I mentioned this in the last video. New grill. This is the item I have to paint. Actually comes apart, there's whatever, you know the deal. This is the mod that's the mod that I have that will probably not go in the car for a very long time. I know I mentioned that. It's a new differential for the rear. I believe I have the viscous LSD or whatever. The V LSD. It is, it's touchy. Sometimes it wants to grab both tires, and other times it doesn't. But that's the other mod. And then, last but not least, the one that's installed already. That is a Greddy. I guess it doesn't really matter what brand it is, but it's a Greddy rear strut tower brace. That is installed already, and I took the car for a drive and couldn't really tell the difference, but whatever. I got it with the LSD, so win-win. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on this quick video. It was pretty simple. If you guys do your own, if you guys are like BS mechanics like myself, like a YouTube mechanic, you've probably done brakes before, so you probably know how to do this already. But the annoying thing is the rear caliper when you have the e-brake, that thing you have to squeeze back in. But I was gonna get the tool, but 240's done and the Mustang's done, so I don't really need the tool for a very long time. Even with track days with the 240, I probably won't have to change the pads like that soon, but I don't even have another track day scheduled, so I don't really have to worry about that right now. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this quick video of brake change. Hopefully I showed you something that you may have not known already, but you may have. So like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna be doing, I guess, the 240 stuff. Maybe we're gonna paint that thing next. Gotta test fit it and all that shit. See you later. I feel so free. I feel so